Welcome back, Crochet Piece community. So this video is the chain video tutorial. Making chains can be easy and a little tricky at the same time. So first I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm making them. And then I'm going to talk to you about some tips that may help you while you're making yours. First, I do recommend that when you're first learning, you use the Bernette Maker yarn that I'm using. The yarn doesn't, create situation where the yarn is able to split, so it makes learning easier, and it makes holding the hook and the yarn easier. You see, and my stitches are nice and even and consistent. Okay, so this is what the process looks like. Now, some tips that can be helpful are as such. So after you make your slip knot, and check out the slip knot tutorial for that, when you're making your chains, this is how your yarn and your hook should be set up. So the slip knot should be on your less dominant side if you're holding the crochet hook like I hold it. And I do hold it a little bit more like a person who knits, but this may be helpful for you as well. And I'll show you another way to hold your crochet hook in a few moments. But if you're holding it with the two-hand method like I am, you're going to want to do what I call the letter T formation. So you have your tail end of your yarn on one side and your working end of your yarn on your other side. The slip knot is over to your less dominant side, and the working end of yarn is going behind your crochet hook. You see that? It's going behind there. So, and then you want to, the next thing is about, and you'll get this over time, your gauge, how you're holding the yarn and controlling the yarn tension. Okay, so my hand placement is important. And it's a little tricky at first in the beginning, so give yourself some grace. It'll take you a little bit, but remember there's a learning curve. So the slip knot is on the left, the working end of the yarn is behind the crochet hook, and then over here to the right, and the tail end of my yarn is over to the left. Do not let that slip knot slip over there to the right because you'll lose your stitch. Okay, so this is my setup, and I usually hold the this slip knot over here, like pinch it like so, and then this is how my hand is formed. So I have these three fingers closed in, I have the yarn in between my middle finger and my pointer finger, and then I have my pointer finger wrapped under that working end of yarn. I'm going to use my middle finger and my thumb to kind of control the yarn, the hook, but I'll go back and forth. So I'll yarn over, and you see I'm yarning across the front of the crochet hook and then bringing it back over to that dominant side. And then I'm placing my fingers back here. I'm going to take this knot, slip knot, and I'm going to pull it up. As you see, as I'm pulling it up, that piece that I just wrapped across is going to go into the mouth of the crochet hook. There's a little hole there on the piece of yarn that was still on the hook, and I'm going to lift that yarn up and over the top like so. Okay, and I'm going to do it again, adjusting my fingers every time, because see, now my piece is a little longer, so I have more to hold on to. But you want to remember that as you're holding on to this, you're keeping this on this side for a reason, because otherwise your stitches will become uneven. So I'm holding on to this also to create that even. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap yarn over across and bring it around like so. And then I'm bringing this here up, and that top piece is going into the mouth, and I'm pulling the crochet hook through the hole and lifting the yarn over the head of the crochet hook. Don't want to do them too tight, because you have to go back into them at some point to make your next row. Most projects start with this chain stitch. Okay, so that's it. You're going to yarn over, go back, and then we're going to lift up and go over, and that's the chain stitch. And you see how I keep alternating with my hand, and that's just to make my stitches even. And of course this gets faster as you continue to practice. Okay, so in the next part I'm going to show you how to hold your yarn and your hook a different way. Okay, so this is the letter T formation method, and I'll show you it one other way. Okay, so I showed you the letter T formation. Now with the what I call, it's actually the greater than symbol, how it goes like this with the yarn. So this time all the yarn is going to be on the less dominant side. So you see that symbol that I'm talking about? Yeah. So this is a common method that people use to hold their yarn and their hook, and you want to keep everything on that less dominant side. You're gonna want to grab a hold of this yarn like so, and just wrap that finger, that hand. So I'm bringing it like so, and then closing in those 3 fingers again. Let that pointer finger be your guide and lift it up. You see how it's gonna kind of control the tension. Then I'm still using my middle finger and my thumb right here. Okay, and now this dominant hand is going to control the hook. So see, I'm going to go there like that. So I went forward, back, underneath the yarn, and then up. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to pull down. Instead of pulling up, I'm pulling the crochet hook down into that hole like so. Okay, and you want to again be cautious of your tension. You don't want these stitches to be too tight so that you can go back into them. And you always want to move that pointer and that thumb up to hold the position of the chains so that they kind of stay even. And again, they probably won't stay even in the very beginning of you doing this because you're getting used to it. Okay, so we're controlling the tension of the yarn with this pointer finger, and then with these fingers down here, they're controlling the tension, and then the middle finger and the thumb are just keeping the stitches in place so that you can do your thing. Okay, and then you're just going to have to kind of pull on this a little, see how, so that you can, you know, release some of that tension if it's too tight. Play around with it and you'll get it. But yeah, this is the chain stitch using the greater than method. What I mean by that is just that the yarn is on one side. Okay, happy crocheting.